ATL.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater. It spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage. You'll see the frequencies that we transmit on and a little background information on our club. Also, you will find a link on our homepage that will take you to YouTube, where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a specific tone of 103.5 for this net. Again, 103.5 for this net. Again, this is Dave, KD7ZYM. I'll pause momentarily in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact on the 08 machine before the net gets fully underway. Hearing none at this point, welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Checked in via video link already is Ron, KD7QKU, Bob, K9PQ, Richard, K7ITX, Wade, W7ITL, Jim, N7QO, James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, KD7ZYM. Is there anybody else that would like to check into the net this evening?
This is KF7UHK.
Jessica, KF7UHK, thank you for checking in. Well, let's get the net rolling. Let's start up with Ron in Tacoma, KD7QKU.
Well, thank you very much, Dave. Good evening to everyone. I thought I saw Bob on. What happened to Bob? Helling, K9PQ. Maybe the computer isn't working up there and he gave up again. He should stay on Zoom and we can enjoy him that way. Richard's probably watching the game, the 49ers and the Green Bay. I've been watching it too. Let's see. I don't know. I wonder if I have long COVID or something. The last couple of weeks I just been off and on sick. I mean, feel just terrible. Yesterday I felt absolutely terrible. The day before I didn't feel good. Today I'm a little better. Feel like I'm getting a cold, a sore throat. It's just, I don't know. And I have a frog in my throat right now. So not much has been going on. I haven't felt like doing anything. I did go out and look at the neighbor, Judy, next door, where her husband passed away. I looked at her. Yes, Jim's got, I've been taking those, whatever they are. I like them real well. They got zinc in them. Coldies. That's what I use, Coldies. Anyway, Judy has this plastic mailbox that opens on the front and the back, and it doesn't stay closed, and so it's just like a wind tunnel. The mailman puts the mail in, and then the ends fall open, and the mail blows out. So she's been asking us to get her mail. So I told her I thought I could screw the back door shut. It's plastic, and so I'm gonna take my cordless drill, I guess, and screw it shut. I don't know if I can do anything about the catch in the front. It's just a plastic mess, if you ask me. But anyway, maybe if the back stays closed and the front falls open, the door falls open, at least the mail maybe won't get blown out in the rain. So that's probably, I don't know if I'll do it tomorrow. I might do it tomorrow. I felt a little better today. So I just hope this is the last go around. This has been kind of miserable. Yesterday I spent most of the day on the Davino, or not the Davino, but the recliner with the blanket over me. So anyway, so it's good to hear Jessica, and it's nice to see Wade. I guess I forgot. Wade maybe went out of town. He had a business meeting, I think. He sent me a text. I sent him a text wondering what was up, and he sent me a text saying everything was fine. So anyway, that's it over here in Tacoma. Back to Ned, KD7QKU.
QKU, thanks for that. Let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
KF7UHK, yeah, we're back to good old Seattle weather, as I like to call it, even up here, which is that dreary, just kind of rainy, just kind of a cool day as opposed to snow. Wasn't really fond of the snow, you know. Our snow that we got this last week was a little bit. We still have a little bit on the ground up here in Everett, where I'm elevation about 550 feet. But when you go up north, past the Stillaguamish River, it was like Snowtown when all that snow was happening. We had a bunch up there, and this last Wednesday when I was driving buses, it got a little bit dicey. So much so that they actually called us back to the base at 7 o'clock at night and said, we're done. It's getting too icy out here, and so that was interesting. And that same day, last Wednesday, Whatcom County and up in Bellingham was not even ready driving at all. So that's what's been like up in our part of the neighborhood. Ryan, I hope you feel better. I hate that feeling of not feeling good, and you know, it's like you always try to figure out what kind of thing can I do to help myself out. You know, for me, it's like get lots of sleep and eat well, because I think that you need a lot of fuel to fight things off. You know, now Sylvia, she's got her own issue going on in her lungs, and she's been coughing up a lung and using her breathers and stuff like that. It sounds like asthma attack kind of things going on. So, but we're hoping that, and she went to the doctor, so we hope that the medicine they gave her will solve that issue. Otherwise, that's it for now. I'm going to pass it back. This is KF7UHK.
UHK, thanks for that, Jessica. Stay warm. Let's move on down to Bob, K9PQ in Bothell.
Hey, thanks, Dave, and good evening, everybody. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Ron, about the Zoom, but I would rather, if we're not using it to get the repeater, I'd rather not use it. Enough about that. But yeah, it's a pretty good evening tonight. It's nice to be back above freezing again. The last couple of nights, I guess, well, really, the last 3 or 4 nights, it's got below freezing, and there was a little chance of iciness. We did have ice in spots here and there, and so I didn't get out much. So it's nice to kind of have that behind us, and also just to warm up a bit. For me, the big thing is I have a small, portable, but relatively good humidifier, and it normally is enough to keep my apartment humidified well, enough to be comfortable. But when it was down in the 20s and teens, it was not keeping up. So that's another nice thing, to get the humidity back up inside the apartment. So, okay, well, that's good to start. I'll send it back, K9PQ.
K9PQ, let's go to Richard in Kent, K7ITX.
Yeah, hi everyone. Well, Ron, I hope you don't have long COVID. There is this, Debbie, it's got a sore throat and congestion and coughing and that sort of thing. So, but you might have a touch of long COVID, especially the way you're describing it. I don't know. But at least your tooth healed. Unlike me. In fact, I went to the dentist, and so what I found out is the original problem that I was kind of wondering about a couple weeks ago, it went away. So believe it or not, so I went to the dentist. It's a whole different problem, just kind of in the same general area. In fact, I have a referral now to Pacific Northwest Oral and however you say that word with an M, surgeons. I know. And let me put my glasses on. I can't read this. So anyway, and maybe I can pronounce maxillofacial, oral and maxillofacial, I think. I don't know. Surgeons, anyway. And the dentist wrote on comments, bone exposed, distal lingual to number 31. Please treat as needed. What a bummer. My bone, you can see, my bone is just right there. And, God dang, the dentist, he says, just make sure you don't touch it with your electric toothbrush, because that's what really hurt like crazy. And I almost did tonight, actually. It's kind of hard to brush your teeth, like you're supposed to, and then, oh God. So anyway, I couldn't get in next week, but I get in on January 29th, and geez, it's going to cost an arm and a leg, no doubt. Because I have dental insurance, but quite often Washington Dental doesn't cover oral surgery, so it's a whole nother. And neither does Medicare either, unless I don't know. I think it's too close to my teeth. It's kind of right where when I was a younger kid or younger adult, I had and I might even not connected. The cut the jawbone out to get it out of there. And so it's kind of right in that area, like maybe it's, you know, it just started growing again. It's always something, it seems like. I got all kinds of weird stuff going on. And then Debbie's mom got a call from one of her cousins who just happens to live in Grindavik in Iceland. So the whole thing now that I've just, in my research is, Grindavik couldn't be in a more terrible situation. Grindavik is in a spot, exactly. I mean, it goes, Grindavik is right in the middle between the, and it seems weird to say this, but they're right between the North Atlantic tectonic plate and the Eurasian tectonic plates. Right there. It cuts right through Iceland and Grindavik, and that's why Grindavik is there. Grindavik is there because of the nice harbor that was created by this weird situation. Anyway, this is Icelandic history as we speak. This has not happened before in an Icelandic city, and so you know, I was looking at some of the data. So just picture the city is right in the middle. On one side is the Eurasian tectonic plate, and then on the other side of the city is the North American tectonic plate. And so the plates are rising, but Grindavik is sinking. And they got the most horrific look, yeah, right in the middle. So right in the middle it's sinking, and it's basically going to create a canyon. The city is going to be no more. I mean, it's pretty sad to say, and they expect another eruption closer and inside the city in probably less than a month. So anyway, so they're having a lot of political type community meetings. I think the government will end up buying out anybody who wants to be bought out. I think that'll be the case. But there'll be some entrepreneurs that'll figure out some kind of a tourist side of making money. Because you know how stupid we are. We like to get as close to these things as possible, even to the point where we might even risk our lives. So I don't know. So that's about all I know right now. I'll probably think of a couple other things later on. K7ITX back to net control.
ITX, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society NEP on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Next up is Wade, W7ITL. What say you, Wade?
Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. This is W7ITL Wade here in Tacoma, and yeah, I'm looks like I'm coming over the 1.2, but it's a little weak as usual. Not a lot of color in my image. Let's see. I think it was Richard said he got a tooth issue, and sorry to hear that, and hopefully that'll get all straightened out soon. And then I'll make a comment on Ron and his maybe possible long COVID. I'm hoping that's not the case, and it's just maybe a cold. Let's see what else. So today I went to the Radio Club of Tacoma. Well, I'm getting a lot of interference. I don't know where that's coming from. That might be from my antenna. Let's see. I went to my son's concert. He's in the honor choir for his middle school, and that was pretty good. I got to see him perform this afternoon. My wife's having a bunco party downstairs, so the house is all nice and clean. I spent half a day cleaning, helping my wife clean and get everything ready. I got my haircut today. I'm going to be going to Nebraska next week to visit my boss, and the rest of my team. We're all going to meet up there at one of our hospitals out there where I work, before I worked for. And yeah, we're just going to do a team meeting out there, and I'll be back hopefully by the end of the week. So getting ready tomorrow morning, and going to probably stay in SeaTac tomorrow, and then leave early in the morning on Monday. Let's see, that's about it. Other than it looks like I might be able to get on HF tonight. There's not a lot of interference on my radio tonight, so I'm hoping I can get on there after the net. So that's good, and that's about it for this round. And if I don't get back, I'll say 73. I'm not sure. I got another net I'm participating in right now, so I'm going to go over there and check in real quick and come back. But it's nice seeing everybody tonight, and hopefully we can get our video issue fixed by next net. All right, well, this is Whiskey 7, India Tango Lima, back to net.
ITL, and get an ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Let's go to Covington to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, can you hear me okay? Okay, thanks. Well, thanks, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Ron, on and off sick, I feel for you. My wife had some crud. She still kind of has it, but she's definitely on the mend. She went out today to do a quickie errand, but wore a mask to avoid maybe giving it to someone. Mailbox. Man, I don't know, if it were me with the cold weather, I just duct tape that thing, temporarily anyway, and see what sounds like it's plastic. I don't know, good luck with that. Maybe some glue. Jessica, yeah, typical winter weather here in Seattle. As I came over here, it was raining here at the house. I've got 42 degrees. This is definitely preferable to the ice and snow, though. Glad they didn't force you to drive in that. And how did the dispatch interview go? Hope that worked out as expected. Maybe they need a few days to make up their mind. Maybe they have not yet interviewed everyone, but I'd appreciate a little knowledge on that. Dick, oral surgeon. Is he in the Kent area? Okay. I was going to say I got sent to an oral surgeon in Auburn, and I think I don't remember what they call themselves, but anyway, he was a good guy. I shouldn't say that. He removed 4 teeth, but he was a good guy. I didn't feel a thing, I'll say that. Let's see. Oh, your bone is showing. Don't let Pippa see inside your mouth. Someone may try to lick on the bone or something there. I don't know. That's what dogs do. And Wade feeding the dog, yeah, that was cute. Of course, I would do that if someone tempted me with some munchies too. What can I say? Rough. And Wade, if you're still there, clean the house today. Not to worry, your house will need to be cleaned tomorrow. So, Dick, yeah, things are just always happening to us as we get older. I don't know, that's just the way it is. Hang in there. I'd like to say it gets better, but it'll get better, but it'll never be like it used to be for us. That's just the way it is. Iceland, thanks for mentioning that. I saw that other eruption. I had no idea that the place was in danger of sinking into a crevice like that. That's not good. I guess they need our prayers in Iceland as well. Man, that's awful. And the games, yeah, I watched the Ravens beat the Texans today. That was not much of a game. The game that's on now, I actually left it at halftime. I'm recording the rest of it. It looks like a much better game. Score going back and forth. They were closer, at least when I left. I'll find out. I guess that's it. I forgot to start my timer. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
7QO, thanks with that. Let's go to James, WW7N.
7ZYM, this is Whiskey Uniform, 7 November in Northeast Bellevue. How is the audio coming through tonight? Using a multi-element 6-meter Yagi that's vertically polarized, so it seems to be working tonight. At least it's not so bitterly cold out that I can't sneak some antenna wires in and out of the windows. On the right track with zinc. That's supposed to really be a viral inhibitor, and I do think it makes a difference, though, when the weather is so poor out, relative humidity inside and all that stuff. I think it just extends recovery times on some of the stuff. That's just the way it seems to always work for me. Let me send a generous get well to Sylvia, if Jessica's still on. Sounds like she also might be dealing with some weather-related stuff there. Hope she gets better soon. And let me see. I do agree with Bob. It's nice to get above freezing temperatures again, just back to normal wet 40s. I think it's about 43 out here in Bellevue with light rain. It's nice to have that instead of, like Bob, I had when it was, the ice and snow was predicted a few days ago. I just stepped out my front and I had enough ice to make it slippery and hazardous just to walk out my front door. Well, I don't know what to say, Richard, about surgery and oral and my name should never all be in the same sentence. That's what my attitude is, but I hope you heal quickly. It sounds absolutely awful, but maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it'll not be that bad. I hope you get well soon. I send my prayers to Grenovic. I hope that the people at least get some positive. I'll avoid the obvious jokes about a very fluid real estate market and a fast-flowing movement in pricing. But it's great, though, if the government will buy them out. That would be wonderful, because then it's just over. I mean, you know, and you just get a new house somewhere else. And from the pictures you showed me, there's nobody that's going to live there. I mean, houses that are bent into, I mean, come on, get real. You're never going to go back there. So I hope they find a place for them to live and they move forward. Best wishes to them. Someone was mentioning something about plastic mailboxes. About a decade and a half ago, I had a friend, and their mailbox was constantly getting hit by somebody trying to increase spinal cord injury statistics by leaning out of the car as it sped by and hit it with a baseball bat. Never understood that one. And so I said, no, here's the solution. And it was a big sturdy pipe, but they would aim for the mailbox. I said, just Velcro a plastic mailbox onto the top. And they would come by and hit it, and the empty plastic mailbox would just come free of the Velcro and go fall down off in the bushes. And so in the morning she would go out and pick it up and Velcro it back onto the pipe. And then so it would again, the next weekend, whenever I guess excessive alcohol money was available, the same thing would happen again. But the plastic mailbox would just have a dent. You could just kind of bang it out with your fist and Velcro it back on. So I guess everybody kind of got what they wanted as long as nobody got hurt leaning out of the car. That's it for me. First round here in Bellevue, Washington, USA, Pacific Coast time. This is James Whiskey Uniform, 7 November with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. I'm going to turn it back to our net control, Dave, KD7ZYM. Go ahead, Dave.
7N, thanks for that. And this is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. I got 43 degrees. It's cloudy and light rain at this point. and wish Ron well with COVID. Oh my, he certainly has had his, I would say, overabundance with COVID this year. And Jessica, oh my gosh, sounds so good to hear your voice. It sounds like you survived the ice and snow on the roads up north during your transit duties. So anyway, wish that well and hope that Sylvia gets better over this, whatever she has. Oh my gosh. And Bob, cold and ice. Oh well. But anyway, it's warm inside, so he's enjoying that. And Richard, oh my gosh, dental problems with bones showing. I'm sure they'll find some solution to that. Maybe, I know they can do a bone graft, but if you got a bone exposed, I don't think you want more bone. So probably they try to figure out how to do a gum graft. I'm sure that would be very successful. And let's see what else we got here. Richard, I would say, in Iceland, I guess is a new form of urban renewal that's going on. So hopefully the government will pick up the tab on that. And Wade, oh my gosh, a choir for your son. That's always great for a parent to be at those recitals for your children. So that's very good. And Jim, oh my gosh, as you say, the older we get, the more ailments we seem to encounter. What a way that the success of being old, as Art Linkletter said, you can't be a sissy and grow old. And James, the zinc man. So anyway, sounds like your ship is sinking. So anyway, I wish you well with that. So this is Dave, KD7CYM. And for me today was doing chores around the house. And so I got that out of the way. Sort of sit back and enjoy the warmth of the heat inside. I've started to assimilate some of the material I need for taxes coming down the next month or so. So some of those items are starting to dwindle in the mail. So I'm starting a folder with that. So that's about it here in Lake City. This is Dave, KD7CYM. So let's go back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, KD7QKU here. Well, if I heard right, I guess Jessica was out driving around in the snow. She probably has some pretty good stories to tell about that. It sounds like fun. I got 42.6 degrees here. And, gee, many Christmas, I don't have a whole lot to say. I didn't really make a lot of notes. When I was feeling pretty good, I don't know when it was. Maybe it was Wednesday. If it was, I didn't tell you guys. But anyway, I turned on the HF radio and I was on course 10 meters. It was quite a few stations on. And so I gave this guy a call in Texas. He W5. I can't remember. He was a real nice guy. Seems like, man, I got a frog. Every time I talk to one of these guys, he's a big station. I don't know what it is. I suppose I picked the guy that's coming in the strongest. So he was running 1,000 watts, had a tower, 2 or 3 beams on it. Here I'm running a little wire in my backyard, and I only have about 90 or 100 watts. Then he, heard me real well, came right back to me. We had a pleasant visit. He lived in Anna, Texas, which I think is north of Dallas. And he was saying it got down to 6 degrees there. He was pretty cold. I told him my grandson lived there and their pipes were freezing up. He verified what you said, Jim. They put the sewer pipe in the slab and they put everything else up in the attic ceiling. And he said it was a mess. He said, when was it, 2020 or something, they had a terrible freeze. He said they say this only happens once every 100 years. Well, he said it's happened twice now in about 2 or 3 years. But anyway, they lost power, had blackouts. And, he said it was just an absolute mess down there. So he was a nice guy. And so then a little bit later on, I heard another guy. So I called him, and he was in Chicago. His name was, I want to say, Ronaldo, I think was his name. I can't quite remember. He grew up in Puerto Rico, moved here, married a lady from Cuba, and they lived back there for a long time. So then I always have my laptop computer, so then I looked him up on QRZ. Darned if he didn't have about a 60-foot tower with a big beam on running about 1,000 watts. I went and got Joanne. I said, I can't believe it. I talked to two guys, and they're, big stations, and I never seem to talk to anybody with a little station, like myself. But anyway, he was a real pleasant guy, too. They had about 2 feet of snow on the ground. They were expecting more. But anyway, so I had a little bit of fun on HF. So let's see, what else? Let's see, I can't remember. I didn't make many notes, I'm sorry, guys. So I guess I'll just turn it back. And I know what I was going to say is if the computer's not working up at Cougar, who's going to go up and fix it? I mean, it's got to be fixed, I guess. He's pointing at me. I can't fix it. But I can tell you, the last time I went up there in the winter like this, I taken my pickup, the little Tacoma 4-wheel drive, and I started down. The ice was on the road in compact snow, and I slid most of the way down out of control. I didn't know if I was going to make it or not. So if you go up there, be careful. Anyway, so pick a day when the roads are thawed out. That's for sure. You'll hit. There's spots up there where it's shady, and that's where it's dangerous when you hit the shade. So anyway, and I had pretty good tires, not studded, but I had snow tires, 4-wheel drive, and it was a white knuckle. It was all right going up. Up's not bad. You can go slow and go right up, but coming down, you have to either gear shift down or have to put the brakes on. That's not good. Either way, it'll start sliding. You can't do anything about it. Okay, back to net, KD7QKU.
QKU. Thanks for that. Well, let's go to Jessica, the Ice Queen, and find out more about her jitney adventure.
Ron, you'd be a perfect bus driver. I can just tell if you can navigate mountain roads with your sliding all the way. You'd be a good bus driver. Our buses have these ABS brakes on, and you can tell when they're activating, because the bus kind of has this click 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 as the ABS are doing their thing. And many times I hit the brakes and it was doing that. There's one area up by what we call the hospital, where the Valley General Hospital is, and there's cars on either side of the road, and we would hit our brakes, and you would slide towards the stop sign with cars on either side of the road, and you just pray that you slide straight, and that you stop before the stop sign. And a partner who's also doing what I call ops, is the opposite of what I was doing at the time. I'd be doing one route, and he'd be doing the opposite route, and then we'd trade and do each other's routes, basically back and forth all night. And that's how our routes are set up. A lot of times you have someone doing the opposite thing while you're doing one, or sometimes there's someone on the far side of the route coming your way and you're going their way. So we would stop every time down at the Skagit station and discuss all the difficulties, difficult places. Here, watch out for this and watch out for that. It was really kind of fascinating, and also a little bit scary. And then they came on the radio with an all points, all buses, at 7 o'clock. At 7 o'clock, just make your way back to what we call MOA, which is maintenance, operations, and administration. And we went back to MOA and I clocked out, and they paid us for the rest of the night because it was just basically too dangerous to be out on the road. Break real quick. Interview I had this last Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning. I had 5 people in the room. There were like three managers, an HR person, and I guess another manager, different managers from different areas, were in to ask me structured interview questions, like tell me a time when you had a conflict with another employee, and what was the situation and how did you resolve it? So there are about 12 questions like that you had to put a little story together. And I looked up before I did the interview. I looked up about structured interviews. They said just use the acronym of STAR, S-T-A-R, which is situation, task, action, and results. And so you try to put together little stories that you can remember when they ask you these things that fit into their question. And I think I did a pretty good job. I think out of 12 of them, I think I had a good answer for all 12 of them. I really did. And there have been times when I've had structured interview questions that I almost had to fake it because I just didn't have a story to fit into their question. But I think I did okay. One more break. So now I'm waiting for all the rest of the interviews. One of the things is this job would be more of an. They said the job entails working either from 4:20 in the morning up till 9:30 at night. Do these hours are these hours okay with you? I said absolutely fine. You know, some people won't want that. That's a hard thing to say, that you'll work any hours, any time for this job. But I would. I think it'd be just fine. Just gotta learn when you need to make sure you get enough rest. And then the last thing about dental stuff. Who's ever having dental work? I suggest sedation dentistry. I had that done at a place that had the maxillofacial doctors, and it was very, very super easy. Super easy. I was in and out of the chair. It seemed like in a minute, because they put me to sleep and they woke me up when I was all done, cleaned up, and I wasn't coughing up blood or nothing, because they had cleaned me up completely before they woke me back up. And I thought it was the best thing I ever did. I think they were in my mouth for about an hour still. So I suggest sedation dentistry when you can get it. With that, I'm going to pass it back. This is Jessica, KF7UHK.
HK, and time for a little ID again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Let's go to Bothell Bob, K9PQ.
Well, hello again. This is Bob, K9PQ, and I have a few notes. Ron, I'm sorry to hear you're not feeling well, and I hope you feel better soon. That's not good that it's hanging on like that, but hopefully it's just the bug hanging on, and it's not the long COVID then. So best of luck to you. James, the plastic, I forgot who mentioned the plastic mailbox first, but I like that idea of the Velcro. That is a much kinder solution, though. The other one I've heard is somebody that disguised a plastic mailbox or a normal mailbox, but actually had, like, welded steel inside it. And so somebody tried to hit it with the baseball bat, and it ricocheted back and hit himself in the face and took out some teeth. So I don't recommend that. But I did hear about that. I went down a bit of a rabbit hole when Ron said Davino. I thought, man, I haven't heard that in a long time. Not since my childhood, I don't think. And turns out that is a regional dialect here in the Pacific Northwest, and especially from around the 50s to the 60s. And I remember hearing it as a kid. You don't hear it much anymore, but that's the way these things go. But yeah, it's interesting that's local to here, and kind of cool to hear that again. The other one that got my attention was the distal and lingual that Richard mentioned, because I hear that as well when I go to the dentist. They always talk about that. And yet, all teeth are numbered now. They have numbers for the teeth, so I never know what teeth they're talking about. It's like, okay, I remember bicuspids and molars and incisors, and but they don't use those terms anymore. They're all numbered. So I'm completely lost what they're talking about. But distal means toward the back of the mouth, and lingual means toward the tongue. So there you go. That's a little something for you guys tonight. Let me break. A lot to say this time. Yeah, the getting old is not for sissies. I did not know that was Art Linkletter that said that. I'd heard that term before, and I've repeated it a number of times, but I didn't know that was the source, so that's good to know. As far as fixing the video, yeah, Rob did go up. Please don't assume that we're not doing things just because you don't hear about it. Rob went up, and it was actually working after he went up. I'm not sure something happened again. It's going to need more attention, apparently. But you know, we are trying to get these things going again, and so be patient, and we can try to communicate that a little bit. That's actually something. You know, here we are at Club all about communication, but we don't really have a central place. I guess our email. We could use our central email for that, and maybe I'll start. What else have I got? Oh, the buses. I think I mentioned this once before. My brother Keith drives a school bus in southeast Oregon. They get a lot of winter snow, and they have automatic chains on their buses, where it's, if you can imagine, it is, how can I put this? It's got a vertical shaft coming down, and it spins the chains outward like a merry-go-round. And then the chain goes underneath the tire as it spins around. Each little spoke of chain that swings out goes underneath the tire as it goes around, and that's how those chains work. It's pretty cool. And then the other thing is Keith went above and beyond. He had to remove a fallen tree on one of their trips, taking one of the sports teams to another town, and I thought that was pretty wild that he had to get out and, well, he did it. I'm not sure he had to, but that was the only way he was going to get him there. I guess he had a chainsaw with him, and he got the fallen tree out of the way, and they continued on their way. Okay, I'll send it back to Ned. K9PQ.
9PQ, always be prepared. Boy, that's a good example. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Yeah, that's interesting, Bob, that on this local linguistics unique to, you know, our area. And one that I ran into that I thought was kind of odd when I was in college was I used to call, you know, the things in the roads. I don't know, I learned it from my dad. We called them chuck holes, you know, where they'd fill up with water. It's not real big, you know, but you know, you didn't want to hit them with your car. But everywhere else in the world they're called potholes. So you know, and I thought, well, and they thought it was funny. Why would you call it a chuck hole? You know, like, what about poor Chuck? You know, and Chuck was probably right across the table, you know, when we were talking about it. So I don't know. I thought that was pretty interesting. Oh, and another one is acronyms like STAR. I struggle with STAR because the first thing I thought of when you said that, Jessica, was snafu. And snafu, of course, is let's see, snafu. Situation normal, all FU. So, so that's not one that you would want to bring out in your or think about in your job interview. I don't think, because even though it might be true. Oh yeah, the oral surgeon, Covington Jim. I bet he might be the same one that because I'm not really going to one in Kent. It's actually in Renton or Auburn, and I've been to both, Renton and Auburn, years ago. Federal Way and Maple Valley. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same outfit. And yeah, no, they don't bill Medicare. They made that real clear. so I'm up the creek there. And speaking of, insurance, I need to get a new drug. And thankfully for the Inflation Recovery Act, specialty prescription drugs don't cost quite the arm and leg that they did just 2 or 3 years ago. In fact, each year since how should I call it, bipartisan, rarely do bipartisan things get through, but this did, and because it takes both Republicans and Democrats, especially in the Senate, to pretty much agree, or it ain't going to happen. But it happened, and so I can even look forward to spending less out of pocket next year as well. But this is a brand new drug that I'm just going to start taking. It is somewhat expensive, but it's not as drastic as what I ran into in the past. But the difference this time compared to when I first had that horribly expensive prescription drug prescribed, like 3 years ago, I guess, when I first got known I was sick. The interesting thing this time, being with the University of Washington, University of Washington has an insurance investigator, and I've never had so much help from my doctor's office team, so to speak. I probably have talked to 4 or 5 really nice ladies, like the insurance investigator, then the UW Eastside Pharmacy pharmacist, then the lady that ships it out. I mean, it just goes on and on. But this UW insurance investigator really kind of gave me some peace of mind and has helped me a lot. It's just too bad that and Bob, you know what I'm talking about when I say Pacific Medical, because I still go have my PCP, primary care physician there. But do you think they would have I can't imagine anybody having an insurance investigator except, a government institution like the University of Washington. So, anyway, a lot of interesting things that came to mind while you guys were making your reports, and I know, so I didn't mean to belabor my time, but that's how it goes sometimes. 73, and this is K7ITX, back to net control.
Then, Richard, let's see if Wade's still with us. W7ATS. Jim in Covington.
Both there. He's still busy. Let's just wait a second here. ITL to saying 73. I don't know if you heard me on that last transmission. I was a little off frequency. Jessica, yeah. Well wishes to Sylvia. Hope she gets to feeling better very quickly. Wow, listening to some of the questions you're coming up with there, my God, I could not answer questions like that anymore. I think if I told the truth, the HR person would immediately terminate me. I have to be really careful anymore. I don't know. I guess that's one of the things that changes too as you get a little bit older. I don't know. Let's see. So what I did mostly today is chores around the house. I would like to point out it was a nice day here about up until the sun went down. And after that it started raining. So, oh well. Don't know what tomorrow's going to be like, but I'll find out tomorrow. Ron, I think what happens is, my theory anyway, if you've got a big station, you're probably going to spend a whole lot more time on the air. So you're more likely to get in touch with the big guns rather than the stations like us. At least that's my theory. But that's good. That get to talk to some guys. I should try that one of these days. Let's see. Bob, talking about Art Linkletter. Wow, I haven't heard that name for a while, and that brought back some memories. There's this one show that he was on. He said that he went to a retirement home, and he's walking there, and this one woman is smiling at him, giving him this really friendly smile, and he's thinking, oh, well, she's seen me on television or something. So he said to this woman, do you know who I am? And she said, no, I don't know who you are, but if you go to the front desk, they could tell you who you are. I kind of thought that was a little funny, but, oh well, we're all getting older. 87ZYM and 7QO.
Thank you, Jim. Let's go to James, WU7N in Bellevue Land.
Well, looks like we're getting pretty close to the top here. Nice net tonight. By the way, anybody who's watching or trying to decode the 1.2 gigahertz transmission, that is a picture of the inside of our shack with a chair squarely in the center of it. That's what's going on 1.2 gigahertz right now, with racks to the left and a wall to the right. So if anyone's trying to decode that tonight, that's what you're going for. And actually, it's a black and white image, so if you're beating your head trying to get color, you're not going to get that. An insurance investigator. I've always associated that term insurance investigator as somebody who investigates, like when people back in 2009 were burning their own houses down to collect the insurance. That's what I think of as an insurance investigator. Someone who's trying to prove that, you know, there was a large gasoline truck parked in the living room when the house mysteriously burned up, so therefore we're not going to pay it. But I never heard that term used. Actually, what the term I've heard is ombudsman, and I never can quite pronounce that correctly. But that's the term I've heard for somebody who's trying to, you know, try to help you navigate the maze. I've never heard to me that's an interesting term. Thank you for sharing it. As no one could pronounce the word ombudsman, so they just changed the wording around to something new. So we all know that. But that's becoming quite the thing to navigate. There's all kinds of insurances out there, and if you read the fine print, by the time you exclude everything, you have to ask yourself, when would this ever pay? But I wish you the best of luck there, mainly in just getting it repaired. It sounds absolutely awful. So it looks like we got a couple of minutes here. Let me go pass it back to Dave, our net control. This is WU7N.
7N, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Boy, talk about enunciation of words. It's always kind of interesting in broadcasting. We'd always get a new weather person every so often, and it was like they'd kill Yakima to Yakima, and Spokane is Spokane, Washington. So it was always kind of interesting. And then there's always the crick and the creek, and that's the Northwest method of pronouncing crick, I guess. So anyway, this is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. So let's move it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU here again. Well, it was nice hearing from everybody, nice hearing especially from Jessica. I did take a COVID test Friday morning just to see, and I was negative, so I guess I don't have COVID again or anything. So anyway, and I wrote, thinking of things we haven't heard of, we got a Montgomery and Ward catalog in the mail yesterday. Richard is saying, what? Yeah, it was a small catalog, but it was just Montgomery and Ward, just like they used to be. I don't know where it came from, but I guess it came from them. It was in our mailbox. It was probably about a quarter of an inch thick, and it just was just a regular little old catalog. So anyway, I'll leave you with that. KD7QKU.
Time machine. Well, let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
I have a card from Tully's that's worth, we think, about $100, because we probably put $100 on a Tully's card when we used to both work at Boeing, and we had a Tully's inside the building, and you can't find any Tully's around here anymore. There was one in Issaquah, the last one that was there. You can't call there anymore, which we tried today, and they seem to be disconnected. So time machine, yeah. Otherwise, I just want to say it was really nice to hear everybody. You know, in my recent for my interview, I put a mini resume in that told my radio usage, and I also mentioned that I'm part of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, and we meet twice a week, and they all raised their eyebrows and thought that was kind of cool. So you use your things wherever you can. That's for sure. All right, good to see you guys. Good to hear from you guys. KF7UHK.
7UHK. Oh my, the clock struck 9, so I guess it's time to sign off the net for the evening. I'd like to thank all the participants for the net this evening for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. And we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 for our voice transmissions. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7CYM, signing off at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.
Bye.